Hi, my name is Lindsay. I'm a 19-year-old female living in Pennsylvania with my parents and 2 sisters. We live in a rural area, and there isn't much that goes on out here. I listen to your stories every morning at work and always wished I had a scary story of my own to share. Well, tonight I got my scary story. To preface the story a bit, me and my older sister have only been hiking one time before this experience, so we are by no means pros. We do, however, always bring some items for safety such as pocket knives, flashlights, and a medical kit. For this story, I will not use my sister's name for the sake of their anonymity. My older sister will be called Mary, and my younger sister will be referred to as Felicia. So, today's Felicia's birthday, and she's never been hiking before. We figured we would bring her on a little hiking trip to take advantage of the beautiful weather. The area we hiked at prior is part of the state game lands. Hikers are permitted on the mountain trails during the off-season of hunting. However, not many folks know about this spot, because there are no signs or anything until you walk the mile or so into the woods. By then, you reach a small parking lot of sorts, which is always empty. There are 2 main trails that are marked with the occasional blue dot on a nearby tree. If not for these spray paint dots to mark the path, you might not even know it's a trail, because of how little use these paths see. Probably not the best first hiking spot for a couple of newbies like us, I know. But it's super close to us and makes for a quiet hike with lots of scenery. So, we decided to once again hike that trail because we were somewhat familiar with it. We were decently excited and ready to have a nice relaxing hike through the mountain and hopefully get some cool pictures. We started walking from our house all the way to the bottom of the mountain where we would begin our hike. On our way there, we were telling F about the trail and how beautiful it was. M then expresses concern that there could be animals of all sorts nearby, because the area isn't normally frequented by many humans. I figured there would be animals, of course. It is the woods after all, but I never imagined anything like what I'm about to describe in this story. After walking for about 15 minutes, we reach the parking lot. M leads the way with me in the middle, and Felicia following closely behind. The first couple of steps onto the trail require you to walk up a small but steep hill. Mary crested the hill before Felicia and me, and as she did, we heard a loud rustling noise off to our left. I naturally chalked the noise up to some birds, or maybe a squirrel messing around in a tree. But then Mary suddenly stopped in her tracks, causing F and I also to pause briefly. Just as I was about to ask what the problem was, M calmly turned and said, "Turn around, guys." I and F just looked at her confused, not understanding what she meant. I just started asking why, and she said probably the scariest thing I've ever heard. "There's something over there. Run!" Now, that sentence was a lot scarier for me and Felicia because we know Mary very well and she doesn't scare easily. So, to hear the clear panic in her voice as she ordered us to run away from something that neither Felicia nor I saw was terrifying. Em and Felicia immediately started sprinting back down the small hill as I was still standing in my place. I quickly looked behind me, but I saw nothing. I did hear something though. I was still very confused because I hadn't seen anything, and Mary never said what she saw. I ran over to Mary and Felicia, who were waiting for me just before the entrance to the parking lot. I think part of the reason I hesitated to run right away was that I thought Mary might be exaggerating a little. I should have known by the look on her face that she was not messing around. I had a miniature hatchet multi-tool and a pocket knife on my belt, and you better believe I had them at the ready. I had no idea what I was expecting, but I knew whatever might run out of the woods behind us was going to get a face full of stainless steel. When I reached my sisters, I asked Mary what exactly we were running from. She just told us to keep moving as she constantly looked back at the trail we had just come from. She even told us to jog just in case it was following us. We did. After maybe jogging a quarter of a mile or so, Mary finally told us what we were running from. She said she looked in the direction of the noise we had all heard, and what she saw was a gray figure, hunched over about 10 feet off the trail. She described it as being at least the height of Felicia, who was around 5'6". She said it looked to be bipedal, but she didn't stick around long enough to take in every detail about the figure. However, she did note that it looked as if it was shuffling towards us. I believe that's what made her get us out of there so fast. She must have feared that we were being chased. Now, I never have believed in monsters or cryptids or anything, but Mary said she honestly had no idea what the thing was. We don't have any type of animals in Pennsylvania that matches that description, at least as far as I know. I know the black bears stand on their hind legs sometimes, but they're not gray, and it didn't sound big enough to be a bear. The only other thing it might have been was a human. But why would someone hear us obviously distressed and not call out to let us know they were there, and that they didn't pose a direct threat, unless the person was not there as a friendly hiker? Possibly a person living on the mountains, maybe someone doing drugs and was afraid they would get busted. I don't know. That seems to be the only logical explanation, but I'm not fully convinced it was a person. I don't believe in Bigfoot or anything, but who knows? By the time we were almost home, Mary told us that she used to go to the bus stop with 2 of the neighbor kids years ago. She said they would always talk about a mystery animal that they would see walking around in the woods near their house, which is very close to the state game lands. At first, she didn't believe them because she had never seen such a thing, but one time when the neighbor kid's grandmother was with them at the bus stop, Mary asked about this mystery animal. The grandmother is and has always been a religious person. Didn't seem to be the type of person to believe in something like her grandkids had explained, but to Mary's surprise, the grandmother said she had also witnessed the mystery animal lurking around. What's more, our house is just across the lawn from where our neighbors claim to spot this unknown creature. I'm not sure if these 2 experiences are related. Besides, that was years ago. But could the figure M encountered in the woods tonight be the mystery animal? Maybe it was a human or an animal. Who knows for sure? But what I do know is, I don't think we'll be hiking on the state game lands anytime soon.